the recording to start. Yeah, it's fine. And yeah, I hope you can see my screen and my presentation. I will share it. So do you see it?
Yes.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So don't be irritated because I have two screens today for this presentation. So I will see the presentation on the side screen. So just for your information that you don't be irritated. So hi everyone. Thanks for joining today. For those who don't know me yet, because I saw some new faces today, I'm Hannah from Talentor International, and I'm responsible for the partner acquisition at Talentor International. So I'm really excited today to dive with you into the topic of talent sourcing and research. And this session will last around 1.5 hours. I'm not sure if we really need so much time, but we will see it. And I really want to make sure that you leave also with a lot of theory today, but also with practical strategies and ideas you can apply in your daily work as a recruiter or researcher. As I already said, we will record this session, so you don't have to take any notes. There will be also time for questions afterwards, and I will also forward you the slides and all the information that I'm sharing today with you. So let's have a quick look at our agenda for today. Just a brief overview. So we will go into talent sourcing and why is it also a little critical today. We will look at some strategic approaches, a little bit of theoretical foundations. Also, we have some basic input from research perspective, some best practices. And I will also share some examples with you, practical tips, and also some of the latest research findings in this field. On the right side, you see the key takeaways. So about talent sourcing is no longer a reactive process. So it's really a core strategic function that directly influences an organization as a long-term success. So when we proactively identify candidates, we're nurturing their potential, and companies build also stronger and more sustainable pipelines. We will combine the theory, the data, and the human connection. As we know, modern recruiting requires a balanced approach that integrates analytical insights with genuine human interaction. That's what we do every day when we do research. And also, while data and technology help us optimize search strategies, and we will also take a look at improving the decision making and why the human connection remains the heart of a successful search. Still, I know there is AI out there, but without human connection, there would be no research as we do it in the recruiting industry. Also, long-term success starts with the first touch point. So this touch point sets the tone for trust, engagement, and long-term loyalty. So a really thoughtful, personalized outreach not only attracts the right talent, but also creates the right ambassadors for organizations. So, for example, when you reach out to a candidate which is not interesting for the current position, but maybe for some later search project. So let's get started with the first topic. And let's take a closer look at why talent sourcing is more important than ever. We have here 3 bullet points. It's like talent scarcity, the competitive market, and the proactive versus the reactive research. There is a global shortage of talent, and a current study from Korn Ferry predicted by 2030, so in really not far away from us, in 5 years, there will be a shortage of more than 85 million candidates worldwide. So this impacts really all levels, from entry level, so juniors, and also senior leadership. So companies that just wait for the right candidates to apply will simply miss out in the future. Top talent is always in demand, so often candidates receive multiple offers at the same time. We know that as we do the research. And also a research from LinkedIn, a study that I will share later on with you, shows that candidates expect fast responses and personalized engagement. So if we are really too slow or too generic, we will lose those candidates. And the third bullet point is the proactive and reactive research. So reactive means we got a search project, we post, for example, an ad with the position, as many of you do. I see it, for example, on LinkedIn, and then we wait for the candidate to apply. But this is in most cases too late, because that's why it's really important to be proactive, which means continuously mapping the market to build pipelines and being ready for the need when it's urgent. So talent sourcing is really a long-term game. Think of it like farming and not hunting. So you build relationship, nurture trust, and when the time is right, you harvest. So I really think that this mindset is crucial. So we will also have a look at the theory, which is something new, and I will also share those studies with you later on. We have here three main theories for research. One is from Gary Becker, who was an American economist, and he also won the Nobel Prize in 92. His theory is from the 60s, so it's really a long time ago. So he pioneered applying economic analysis to areas like education, family, and even discrimination. And his core idea from Becker was that people invest in their knowledge and skills like education, training, and experience, and that these investments increase productivity and wages. So clients also invest in training in their teams. Why is this theory relevant for our daily work or for research? So when we identify talent, we consider whether we need broadly transferable skills or highly specific expertise. An example would be a developer who knows general coding languages is replaceable, but one who is deeply understanding the custom ERP system is much harder to find. The next theory here you see from Mark Granovetter. He's also an American sociologist, and he's famous for his strength of weak ties. What does that mean? So strong ties are for Granovetter close friends and colleagues, and weak ties are distant contacts. So surprisingly, in his study, he shows that weak ties are more valuable for finding new opportunities, because they connect you to different networks. So instead of only asking close colleagues for referrals, encourage to reach out to broader circles. So often the best candidates for us are hidden in those weak ties. And last but not least, also a lady here on the list, it's Amy Christoph. She was a psychologist. And she says that people are happy and stay longer in companies when their values, beliefs, and personalities align with the culture of the organization. So to say that misfit leads to dissatisfaction, stress, and a turnover. Why is that relevant? So skills are not only enough. An example would be like two engineers may equally skilled, but one thrives in a startup and the other more in a corporate setting. So fit determines long-term success. Just in a nutshell, to show you what these theories are about. So Becker shows us that talent is an investment, not a cost. Granovetter reminds us that opportunities often lie in unexpected places, in those famous weak ties that he mentions. And also Christoph warns us, don't just hire for skills, hire for alignment and culture. So this is a little bit about the theory, and now let's dive into the three core concepts of modern talent sourcing, like active sourcing, proactive talent mapping, and talent pools and communities. These are the building blocks of any effective long-term recruiting strategy. So what is meant by active sourcing? This means you don't wait for candidates to come to you. Instead, you go out and identify people you want to talk to. You reach directly out to the candidates, for example, using LinkedIn Recruiter, Boolean searches, CVs, databases, or personal referrals. And passive attraction is more about creating visibility. So you post jobs, you have a really nice branding of your company that you show on LinkedIn, or you engage in content marketing, so that candidates who are actively looking for new opportunities can find you easier. The proactive talent mapping is about thinking ahead. So instead of starting from zero when a vacancy opens, you already have a map of who's out there. So you continuously identify and track high potential candidates, even if you have no immediate search project right now for that. So it reduces really time to place and avoids like panic searches. We all had it when we have like last minute candidates and we can't find the right fit. So, and this talent mapping allows you to align with long-term business growth and also to plan better. An example would be if you know you'll get a search project soon in your company, as there are many sales pitches right now at clients, so you can, or potential clients, you can already start mapping your local talent today. And by the time this project starts, you know exactly who to call or who to approach. And the talent pool and communities. So pools are pre-identified groups of candidates, often categorized by skill set, location, or interest area. The goal is to keep these candidates warm. And the communities are a step further. These are interactive spaces where candidates engage with your brand. For example, at events, or you make webinars where talent can interact with your company even before applying. So some recruitment and executive search companies are also offering that. What are the benefits of those three? So that the benefits should be, or the best situation is when there are faster placements because you're not starting from scratch. Also strong employer brand because you stay in regular contact with your candidates. And also candidates, as we all know, become a long-term contact. Even they can become a client later on, even if they don't end up with a placement. So active sourcing, proactive talent mapping, and talent pools aren't separate strategies. They reinforce each other. And outreach gives you immediate results. Mapping prepares you for the future, and communities build long-term strength. Together, they create a resilient and scalable sourcing. On this slide, you see Simon Sinek's Golden Circle model, which some of you may know from his book, Start With Why, or maybe you know him from TikTok, Instagram, or he has some really nice TED Talks that you can look up on YouTube. I can also share the links later on with you in the summary. So it's a simple, powerful idea that Simon shares with us. Successful leaders and organization communicate from the inside out, starting with why, moving to how, and only at the end explaining what. So now let's think about that in our daily work when we search for candidate. So most researchers start with what? So we describe the job title, the salary, and the location. An example would be, I have a position for a senior software engineer in Berlin. Do you want to apply? The problem is everyone else is doing the same. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't inspire. Then on the other hand, we have researchers who move on with how. They explain the process or unique selling points. That would be like, we use agile methods, we support remote work, we have a fast recruitment process. That's better, but because it shows the candidate how things are done differently, but it's not the best. And the best effective way would be for us as researchers to start with why. So why does this role matter? Why does the company exist? And why should this candidate invest his or her time in speaking with us? For example, we can say, I'm looking for a marketing manager for a client. And if we start with why, we add to this sentence, we believe great products deserve to reach the right people. That's why our mission is to support our client, to build a marketing team that connects innovation. And we'd love to be part of this journey for our client. If you notice the difference, starting with why speaks to purpose, to motivation, to values. It's a positive mindset, and candidates, especially high performers, especially in executive search, when we're talking about C-level, respond to that much more than to a list of tasks. So transform your outreach, and when you think about sourcing messages, approaching candidates, or even having interviews with candidates, start with why. So communicate your mission and purpose, explain how, show what makes your approach unique, and describe what in the end, the specific role, the task, and the requirement. This also works in reverse, as when we evaluate candidates, ask yourself not just what they can do or how they work, but also why they do it. Do their motivation align with our client's mission? That's where true person-organization fit happens, as we discussed earlier, and we saw it at Amy Christoph's theory before. And in sourcing, starting with why transforms a cold outreach into an inspiring innovation. It moves us from being transactional to being rational. And that's exactly what makes the difference between ignored emails, and we know them all, and genuine conversations with top talent. And as I said, I will also share more information about Simon Sinek in our summary later on. So I have here a picture. When we talk about talent sourcing, it's important to remember that one size does not fit all. Just like you see here, these screwdriver bits, each of one is designed for specific purpose, you wouldn't use the same tool for every screw, and the same goes for your candidates. So every role, every team, and every company culture require different kind of fit. Some candidates might have the right technical skills, but not the right mindset or values. Others might look perfect on paper, but turn out to be exactly what the client needs. So as researchers and recruiters, our job is to understand the nuances, so to go beyond descriptions and find the right fit for each unique context. That's why sourcing isn't just about placing position, it's really about matching people and potential in a way that creates long-term success for us, for our recruitment companies, and also for the client. Now we will go a little bit more into the presentation of the recruitment company or the executive search company about inbound and outbound channels. That's also a little bit connected with marketing, but it could be really important also for us to know it. So what is inbound sourcing? That means that the candidates take the first step, as we had it before. They approach you via LinkedIn proactively, and this often happens also when they see like you have nice job postings or you have really nice branding or they saw a great project before or whatever. And in this case, the communication is typically one-to-many. So as the company addresses a broader audience of potential applicants with our branding. And the outbound sourcing, on the other hand, is when we take the initiative. So we do the research actively. We reach out to specific candidates who may not be actively looking for a new job. This is a one-to-one form of communication, allowing us a more personalized and targeted approach. When we combine inbound and outbound, organizations can build, or we as organizations can build a more effective and balanced sourcing pipeline. So we can attract both active and passive candidates. And in the end, this should be the main goal for our research journey. Here's another slide that illustrates the various inbound channels just for you that you see it. So it's used in recruitment, but as I also mentioned, it's also used in marketing. So inbound is really referring to strategies to attract candidates or also to attract clients with the branding that your company builds. And rather than pushing messages, it's really like through direct branding or advertising. So if you have like a marketing team in your company, they are taking care of this. So and as you see here on the left side, we see traditional and digital media, just job ads, offline media like print, radio, and television. And if we move to the center of this illustration, you see content marketing plays a crucial role, as well as employer branding campaigns, which help position the organization as an attractive recruitment company. And below these, you see performance recruiting, jobs newsletters, career pages, landing pages, and also corporate influencers who share authentic stories and amplify the company's message. Together, these channels form a comprehensive inbound approach, attracting like qualified candidates or lead by generating interest and trust. So rather than interrupting audiences with outbound advertising. So also here you see again an overview about the definition of selected inbound. It's also like I said before, it's really an illustration for you just for information, and each box on this slide represents a key channel. It shows us how organizations can attract talent or customers through value-driven organic methods rather than traditional tactics. So we see here performance recruiting. This involves using paid ads and on platforms like social media, search engines, LinkedIn, or job boards. We see here content marketing. The focus is on creating, sharing relevant, valuable content for specific target groups. And also employer branding is about positioning your company as an attractive and authentic recruitment company. And the CEO, the search engine optimization, focuses on improving the visibility of career pages and job postings or your job postings on your website. And the goal is to ensure that potential candidates find the company when searching for jobs for information online easier. So together, these four elements form the foundation of a strong inbound recruiting strategy that attracts our candidates by offering their value, authenticity, and relevance instead of relying only on the direct outreach. Yeah, so now you see again, like also an illustration. I think it's interesting to show it. I discussed it also with a colleague of us if we should show this today, but also to show you the outbound channels. Um, we see here the outbound channels who are used in recruiting and talent acquisition in contrast to the inbound that I showed you before, because inbound is always when a candidate comes to you, and outbound strategies involve proactively reaching out to potential candidates. So we are not waiting, we are approaching the candidates. And the focus is on direct engagement, the personal contact, and the targeted search activities. At the top, we see the word outbound, which is then divided into several practical channels and approaches. We see here active sourcing, where recruiters identify and directly contact suitable candidates through platforms like LinkedIn or through a database. This proactive approach allows companies to reach high potential talent who may not be actively looking for a job. And there's also the pillar with events like networking, meetup, or virtual events. So after COVID or during COVID, it was not really usual that you go to events or that you meet up. Before that, like in Austria, it was a big deal. Every recruitment company had so many events and you could go there and meet candidates or clients and try to connect with those people. Now it's coming more up in Austria, I think also in the DACH region in general. In other countries, it's really different, but it's always nice to have like events and to connect with potential candidates or clients face to face. And this slide also highlights talent rediscovery, this process of revisiting and re-engaging candidates from the company's existing database. So we as recruiters can leverage social media, CV databases, or even do phone outreach. So to call the candidates. I'm also interested to hear later on if you do that, the cold calling to reconnect also with previous interested or qualified candidates. Additionally to that, you see also here in one block the talent networking, which focuses on maintaining ongoing relationships with candidates and building this long-term connection. So these channels really improve also, like you see it here in the end, talent pooling, harvesting, profile mining. Profile mining is searching for matching profiles across different sources and platforms. Headhunting research, that's what we do when we search for candidates, and also referral sourcing, which is using our network to find trusted candidates. So together, these outbound channels on this illustration enable us as recruiters to take an active personalized approach to finding the right candidate, and also complementing the inbound with the outbound strategy to reach candidates who might not otherwise engage through traditional also marketing, but also to the content-driven methods that we use in our daily business in our recruitment companies. Just a short overview again of the talent pool harvesting, the profile mining, and the headhunting research and referral sourcing that I already mentioned. I will also give you more information in our summary later on about that. But I think it's nice that to see the outbound and inbound, even it's really linked to marketing agendas. But the reputation of our companies as recruitment executive search companies are also important for the clients and also surely for the candidates when they look up our websites and our LinkedIn company pages. Yeah, now you see here the active versus the passive. So the active sourcing versus the passive sourcing. Just briefly to go into that as it's also part of the theory. So we identify and approach potential candidates when we're active. I mean, the main platform is surely LinkedIn, and the goal is to reach also the passive candidates. So people who are not looking for a new job, sometimes you see it on LinkedIn when they have the green lining in their profile picture. So when they're open for a job, that's always nice for us to know. But sometimes people are also looking for a job and don't want to show it to their network. On the other hand, we have the passive sourcing, which is focusing on attracting candidates who are actively seeking new opportunities. Here we as a company can create visibility through our career, through our website and also through our branding. And the idea is to make our company as a recruitment company really appealing, that the candidates also look up at our company. Maybe you know that when you were searching a job before, you also looked up different recruitment companies and to look up which positions they are placing and which kind of projects they have. So in a nutshell, active is about going and finding talent, and passive is about creating the conditions that make talent come to us. An effective talent acquisition strategy usually combines both active methods to target hard to reach talent and passive methods to maintain a steady flow of motivated applicants. When we talk about active and passive, it's also like interesting to see the talent mapping. So the future ready hiring, as it's called in theory, it's a key strategy. So it's really, it means that we don't wait for projects to come in before starting our search. Instead, we research, identify, and build already relationship with potential candidates ahead of time. So based on clients and that are long-term clients to their goals and needs. It's about understanding the talent market before you need it. So it's really mapping who's out there, what's happening, where are the candidates. This gives us a strategic advantage when positions become available or when we get a search project, because we already have a warm pipeline of qualified and engaged candidates. So that's many researchers in the recruitment and executive search companies in our network are also specialized on maybe on one or two industries. That's much easier to do if you're specialized like in one or two industries. If you're like a really generalistic company, then surely it's a little bit tough to do a pre-research. But this approach really shifts the focus from reactive searching to strategic intelligence gathering, and the benefits are clear. So it's really reducing the time to place or reduce the time to hire, because you have already identified and nurtured some candidates. You have better quality hires since you're choosing from a pre-vetted pool. You have a better client partnership as you provide insights that support long-term workforce planning. It's always nice to tell the client, oh, the market for this, like the IT market in Austria, it's really tough right now, and you can give more insights on that. When you have the briefing with the client. And most importantly, a proactive future-ready approach to recruitment is also a benefit, because that anticipates needs rather than reacting to them. So this proactive talent mapping, to sum it up, transforms sourcing from a short-term activity into a long-term strategic function. And it's how recruitment teams move from just placing roles to really shape the future, if it's possible. It's not always possible to apply on that. It depends on the project and the team and the industry focus. But yeah, it's something that you can really consider and think of if it's possible also, and if you have the resources in your research teams in your companies. Just in a nutshell, some again the talent pools and the communities. So as I already said, the talent pool is the database or a network of qualified candidates that you already have, that are already the candidates have shown interest or they really match typical project needs. So this can include previous candidates, already right now sourced candidates, or really candidates that you met at events if you go to events. So this idea is to keep them engaged, informed, and ready for future opportunities. So the benefits are also clear, again, reducing time to hire and to place, stronger relationships, and also gaining passive talent. And it's ultimately about long-term recruitment success when you sum it up together. By investing in that, you're not just placing the jobs faster, you're building trust, loyalty, and sustainable talent pipelines for the future. On the next slide, you see the executive search flow, because many of you are working in recruitment companies, but we have also special executive search companies which are sourcing at the highest level, so really C-level, and these searches on a different form, also always a little bit with some steps, but it's like the same for every researcher. But just to show you for executive search, so it's really like the briefing, then you do the search, the executive search in this place for like C-levels and really senior candidates. Then there is the interview, the candidate profile, the report, the candidate presentation. Then if the client wants, you get references. And in the end, what we are all hoping for is the final selection and the onboarding of the candidate at the client's company. when we think of executive search, it's really also important to think how to talent acquisition in that area. So I have here 5 points. Like, it's really aligning with the stakeholders to clarify the success criteria. It's the intake and role definition. It's about the research, the long list, and also there is also a short list. It's mapping industries, competitors, identifying potential candidates, then to reach out to the candidates with a personalized, trust-based communication. And then there is the shortlisting and the presentation. So you in executive search, you show like 3 to 5 top candidates with detailed profiles. Sometimes it's like only, we had it also because I was working in executive search before, like you show only 2 candidates because the market is so tough. And if you're lucky enough, the client is satisfied with that. Otherwise, you have to search for more C-level specific candidates. And in the end, surely the client presentation and the client support. So the key challenge of these core components is balancing speed, discretion, and quality. Often executive roles are not actively looking, so the trust building is crucial. And to succeed in this research, we need really strong tools. And Boolean search is one of them. I will show that later to you. And yeah, but for now, yeah, you see here again, in a nutshell, what is intake and role definition is really to understand also the cultural fit and the business context of your client, to really go into deeper with the client about their company, and that you make the success happen with the candidate search. The more information you have about your client's company, the more success is possible for the research when searching for the right candidate. And also for the long list creation, the market mapping, also to look at the competitors and really to build a nice pool of C-level candidates. And here you see the long list. I have just here an example for you. I don't know how many of you are still working with that, like a long list and really a short list. But a long list is, as you see here, a list of all potential candidates who meet the basic requirements for a role. So as a researcher, this is usually our first step in the candidate identification process. When it comes to executive search, it includes everyone who could possibly fit the position without filtering too strictly. So it includes candidates with relevant skills, experiences, and qualification. And it's gathering key details like the current role, you see it here, location, skills, availability, and some other relevant notes. Why is a long list made? It's to show the client the market landscape to give the client also the choice and the flexibility before narrowing down the candidates, and so also to ensure that no potential talent is overlooked. So that's why many executive search companies and their research teams are making long lists. But surely the better list should be the next one. It's the short list. And it's funny that in my example, the short list is longer than the long list, but it's because also you see here the long list candidates, and on the last, when you see the candidate progress, like it's not interested, message left, networked. So this short list is a refined high quality subset of the long list, and the candidates who are best aligned with the client's needs and are recommended for active engagement and interviews. So why is this important? So it's really evaluating the candidates against the criteria and priorities set by the client, to highlight the candidates who are realistic to engage and likely to respond positively later, and also to provide a context on strengths, potential gaps, and motivation, so the client can make a better informed decision. Is really to save the client time by focusing on the top candidates. As I already mentioned, it can be also only 3 candidates that you show on the shortlist, and depending on the project. Also to increase the chance of successful placements and to demonstrate the researcher's expertise and understanding of the role and the market. In a nutshell, what is this all about? So long list, the full team talent landscape, and short list, the cream of the crop. So for us as researchers, or for researchers in executive search, knowing how to create this long list and strategically refined short list is really critical. It ensures the client sees both the breadth and the quality of the market while maximizing efficiency and impact. On the next slide, we we see the candidate outreach and the shortlisting of the interviews. So once we identify the potential candidates through sourcing, the next critical step is the candidate outreach and the engagement. And this is where we turn our research into the real connection. So outreach is not just sending messages, it's about creating like a compelling and personalized connection with the candidate. As researchers, our goal should be to capture attention. So really to our message that the candidates say, oh, great, that's really interesting opportunity, a nice message. I will reply to that researcher or consultant or recruiter, and really to communicate the value of the opportunity and highlight what makes this job position really attractive for the candidate, and to engage the candidates early. So to really build trust and interest before the first interview. And the shortlisting is, it involves evaluating who is the best aligned with the role and the client needs. So as we saw the strong shortlist, it's really focusing on candidates with relevant skills, cultural fit, experience, providing insights on potential gaps, motivation, prepare the client for efficient and informed interviews, and also increasing the likelihood of successful placements. Once the candidates are shortlisted, interviews allow the client to dive deeper and confirm alignment with the role. So your work as a researcher is really crucial also in this process. So a well-prepared shortlist saves times and improves quality, and you can really ensure that the client speaks later on with the right people, not just like with the first available candidates that you found. Again, to sum it up, outreach, engagement, building relationships and sparking interest, and shortlisting and interviews, refining the pool and enabling smart decisions. So if you master both of those, you can bridge the gap between sourcing and successful placements, ensuring a smooth and professional recruitment process from start to finish. So that should be our goal at the end of the day. And again, also to go a little bit deeper into the client presentation, but not too deep, just 4 points. It's like this is the client presentation is the moment when we showcase our findings and provide insights in a clear, structured way. This means for us as researchers, we present the shortlist with detailed profiles, we provide market insights, trends, like talent availability for the role, competitive intelligence that helps the client understand the broader landscape, and really to explain the rationale behind candidate recommendation. Be transparent and really explain to the client why are there the 5 candidates on the shortlist and why you think like that the one of those 5 would be the best. The goal is really not just to hand over a list to the client, that would be too easy, but to tell the story behind the candidates, showing the client why these candidates are the right fit and why you chose them. So, and also the client supporting the client, and not every researcher is doing this. I know that in some companies, the researchers are really only doing the research, are not involved in client communication. But if you are involved, it's really to support them and going beyond the presentations. So really advise the clients on interview strategies, timelines, and the candidate engagement, provide feedback from candidates to help the client refine their approach, and also ensure a really smooth process from scheduling the interviews for the client. And also do not forget, it's really important and sometimes not that easy to address your concerns about the candidates, and also always be open for questions for your client. So an effective client presentation and support builds really trust and strengthens the relationship and positions the recruiter or the researcher even as a strategic partner, not just as a source of candidates. So in a nutshell, again, client presentation, showcasing your work clearly and strategically, client support, guiding, advising, enabling successful hiring decisions. So for us, this means mastering both steps to our market insights, candidate analysis, and engagement, so that we really find the best candidates in the end. Now we will go a little bit into the Boolean search. It's maybe not relevant for all of you. I know we have really basic people today in the session, but also more advanced researchers. So maybe some of you never heard about Boolean search in that case, but I will explain it to you or try to explain it. I worked in the past with it. So Boolean search is really a method for recruiters and researchers to use to find the most relevant candidates by combining keywords with logical operators such as and, or, and not. It should help us refine and control search results in databases, job boards, and platforms like LinkedIn or in the applicant tracking systems. So how it works, you see here the word and narrows the search by including results that contain all specified terms. So example would be, you see it here also on the slide, Java and software engineer. It should find candidate who mention both Java and software engineer. Or broadens the search by including the results that contain any of the listed terms. An example would be project manager or program manager, and that finds the candidate with either title, and the word not excludes the term that you don't want to appear in your results. So it's an example, developer, not junior, finding a developer, but excluding junior ones. We also have the parentheses. This is the group term together to structure complex searches. An example would be parentheses Java or Python, then and software engineer or developer. This would be an example. So why recruiters are also using Boolean search. It's really, the example is like to find experienced software engineer or developers, and you see here the code for it. So why do we use it? Really to save time by filtering out irrelevant profiles, to target specific skills or experience levels, or to broaden or narrow the talent pool that is needed. And also, I think I have it also on I have it on the next slide, to find passive candidates who may not have applied directly but match the requirements. So Boolean search is not often used in my experience today. I know that some colleagues from E. Austria use it, from our mother company, from Talentor International. It would be interesting to hear later on from you if you have heard about it or not, or if you have any questions. It's something that I haven't used for years for my research, but I'm searching now for partners and not candidates anymore. But it would be really interesting, and I will provide you also with more information. I just wanted to involve this topic because I think it's interesting to hear it if you never heard about it or never used it, but also for those people who used it, if they still use it, or how is it supporting it, in how much of support is it in your candidate search? Now we're going a little bit back to basic about the candidate approach. So again, it's all about the active and passive. I don't want to repeat myself, but it's like really, it's always in the theory. So really, active is the profile is updated from the candidates, and the best case is they have the status open to job offers on LinkedIn, and passive is the status is unknown. There are no active statements, and we don't know if the candidate or the potential candidate wants to change. So always good to make a cross check in the database. Is there already a profile with up-to-date contact information? And is there a previous contact available? If relevant, refer to it. So it's also interesting to know how many of you use the data bank for the database for the candidate search, and how many of you are really relying on LinkedIn and having their talent pool there. So we're going to the approach, some messaging tips for reaching out to candidates. Some golden principles are also to really treat the candidates like valued clients, also to know the target audience, and think like the candidate. There was a time we all were candidates, and think about that. How would you be like to approach when you were the candidate? Write the way you speak. I have to say, I'm only writing how I speak when I approach potential partners, and I really try to make it short. And I once read in a study from Michael Page, you have 10 seconds for attention when you're approaching the candidate. So it's really short. It's the same like you never get a second chance for the first impression. So your text has really one job, to prompt the reader to take a specific action, and use AI mindfully. Like when you use ChatGPT, it's nice, really. I also like to use it, but I'm still really skeptic because, for example, and I read it also in a study from Michael Page, and I will share it with you. You can look it up. When you let ChatGPT make a text for you, then the long dash appears. And this is often an indicator that the tool was used because many people already know. I mean, many people are using ChatGPT, that this is like an indicator, okay, this person is approaching me with an AI text. Also, always good to take a break when you have like really a lot of approaching going on in one day, just like 5 minutes away from the screen. That's also what we do in the partner acquisition. To read it out loud is also always good, also for typos, just to check the text again. And also, when you have a research team and colleagues in your team, then you can go to the 4 eyes principle and ask a colleague to read it if you're not sure, or if it's really a high valued position, like really a C-level, then you can check it with your colleagues and ask them to read the message. Always put the candidate first when you reach out. It's really your experience, your project. And as I already said, put yourself in the candidate's shoes. Think about it. How would you react when you get such a message? And know your candidates. It's really good when you know a lot about the company that the candidate is working at. For example, when you know there was a big layoff in the company and you know, okay, maybe the person is also affected by it or could be affected soon because the economic situation has changed for that industry, then you can also reach out to that and say, I read in the news that you had a laid off. How are you? Maybe I have an interesting opportunity for you. And always think also, what's in it for me? What can you offer the candidate? And what is the best way to offer it in this short message? So how to approach, some tips and tricks that I got also from some colleagues from who are doing the research for candidates at E. Austria, as I'm doing a different kind of research right now. So the subject line is always nice that it sparks interest. So emoji increases attention. You can use it, you don't have to use it. I don't use it. But in candidate approach, it also depends who are you approaching. When you're approaching like, I don't know, a software developer from a startup, it could be nice. It's really depending on the position, if it's junior, senior, and what kind of company they are working at and which kind of level they're operating. Also show that you really have looked up the profile, and to mention something from the profile. Explain also really short why you were contacting them. Keep it short and simple, as I say. Try it. I had the best experiences with really short message, and it should be always a call to action. It's also nice to ask a question in the end if you want. I tried it several times, and I have to say it's a good response rate then. And don't forget to do the signature with contact details. I mean, if you have LinkedIn, it's clear that the person has your contact details, but also like your phone number, and that they have it if you want to arrange a call or something later on. And yeah, and last but not least, always think like the candidate and read the message again from the candidate perspective. Just some creative messaging tips. So some like to use humor. It's nice. If it's fit the target audience, as I said, it really depends who are you approaching, what kind of job position, and some wordplay makes sense, but not too many funny elements, not too many emojis, and yeah, jokes meant to be funny, but can be like, yeah, also sometimes confusing. I read like once there were like some funny approach text for researchers in an article from Harvard Review, and then someone wrote, at least it's not an IT support job, because like it's like a mid-level job. It can be positive, but it also can be negative. So the best way is to avoid it. uh, as I already say, relevant information about the position and the interest are important, and also the call to action. Don't overdo, just really try to get the candidate to answer you, and also pay attention to the feedback and what do you get back as a message to your approach. What about the follow-up? Waiting for a response. Sometimes it looks like this. So when you send the first message, you can give it a week of time. Then you can do the follow-up after 1 week and give it 1 week more. After that, if you still don't have a message from the potential candidate, then you can say all the best. What you can also do, you can play with this. You can also send the first message. That's what I did often. I sent the first message and then I put a reminder into my calendar after 14 days, and then I sent the second message. So it's also something you can try, but this is like really in the theory and what's shown in the studies that works the best. And when you follow up again after like 3 messages or 3 times, be gentle and really try to again evoke a sense of responsibility. And maybe the candidate was busy. We never know. We all had it, and the candidate pops up 2 months later. And leave always the door open and leave a positive impression so that the candidate can come back to you anytime. Sometimes they don't see the message. So I heard of someone in the group that they're doing 7 follow-ups. So, and it's effective. So it's really individual. You have to give it a try and to play a little bit with it. So as I said, I sent the message 14 days later, I sent the second one. And then again, I make a gap of 14 days. But here's like 7 days, but that's also fine. You just have to see what works for you the best. Why we do follow-ups or what is a follow-up strategy. So to really increase the response rate, many candidates really, and also in the partner acquisition, respond after the second message. That's in my experience, but also after the third message. You have really to look at the timing, as I said, do what works for you the best, and try to differentiate from other messages. And I think that is the clue also when you use AI, because many researchers do that today. And I think, and many candidates also, when candidates get approached, get a similar kind of message. So really try to stand out. And I think the key to it is really to make it short, personal, and also with all the important information about the job position. And the best case is when the candidate replies after the first message. And also a negative response is better than no response at all. Speaking about ghosting, not nice in real life and not nice in professional life. So it's always good when the candidate writes back, or if even after the second, third message, hey, thank you, I'm not interested right now. Then you can write back, oh, thanks for your feedback, really appreciate it. Just let's stay in touch, let's connect, and yeah, maybe later some opportunities will arise. So some best practices summary for all of that I told you, and I know it's been a lot. So really, your passive candidates are your premium clients. Collaborate closely with your client. If you do that in your company, so as a researcher or as a recruiter, researchers are often not that involved in that process with the client, but if you are, work closely with them and continuously refine target profiles and outreach tactics, prioritize also diversity and inclusion. And if you do executive search, as I also mentioned it, and I know many of you do that in your company or offer that, then use it as a brand strengthening activity and try to put the reputation from your company out there really good so that the candidates, I mean, the best case is when the candidates reach out to you and say, oh, I saw you have a position, I don't know, head of marketing, and this could be interesting for me or whatever. So yeah. And now I think, yeah, it's 1 hour already. We can just try to discuss some things that I told you, or go into some questions, because I really would like to hear from you also your insights. So what searching challenges exist in the industry that you're searching right now, and which channels bring you the best results? I suppose it's LinkedIn, but maybe some of you want to tell a little bit about that. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, what sourcing challenges exist in the industry that you're searching for or in the market. Maybe some of you want to answer that question. Okay, no challenges. That's good.
Is everybody
And
shy?
yeah,
Okay,
everybody's shy. I know. It's been a lot. I've been speaking a lot. It's been a lot of theory, especially for the people who are just stepped into the research or who are juniors. I know it's a lot, but as I said, I will provide you all the information. You can have a look at it. I think it's also nice for you to have the studies later on and to see what's happening in the research also right now. Yeah, which channels bring you the best results? Maybe you can write it also in the chat. That would be interesting. Just write it in the chat. If it's LinkedIn, your
Hello.
data. Hello. Yeah, please.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi,
Hi.
Anna. Hi.
I
Hi,
would like
Anna.
to answer. I would like
Yeah.
to answer
Yeah.
your question.
Please.
I'm still using LinkedIn for some of the roles,
Yes.
and I feel like now the challenges is within with LinkedIn that doesn't provide me the best output when I
Okay.
use Boolean search in my network. You
Okay.
know. It doesn't provide that many filters that it used to in a few years ago, if
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, and since when are you experiencing this? Is it like from this year or for
Yes, yes. I noticed
okay.
this year, and also I try
Mm-hmm.
to search in my contacts,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
page by page,
Mm-hmm.
and it's although I have uh, more than 10,000 contacts.
Yes. That's really a
It
lot,
doesn't,
yeah.
yes, it doesn't allow me to search, uh, like
Through
to
the
see all the
contacts, you mean?
pages, you know? It's very hard
Mm-hmm.
to search on your, of course, you can search by Boolean search,
Yes.
but sometimes you have such, I don't know, hard times in finding the right candidate that
Mm-hmm.
that you feel like you could search like every contact that you have, in your
Mm-hmm.
network. I don't know if you deal with that, but
To be honest, I never tried to do research with the
okay,
contacts because I don't
okay,
have 10,000. So, but
okay.
it's really interesting. I don't know if someone else has experiences about that with many contacts on LinkedIn. Like I don't know, I know people have more than 5,000 to try to research that. But what I do when I'm out of
Mhm.
LinkedIn and I can't find nobody on LinkedIn anymore, I really use ChatGPT. So I prompt in ChatGPT
Okay,
for, yeah, for example, I mean, I look for
to write
partners.
you the string, to write you the string
No,
on oh,
yeah, I just prompt like I write, hey, ChatGPT, I'm
mm,
looking for, I don't know, a partner in Japan. It should be a recruitment company or executive search company, strong on the local market, no member of another international network. So I really write all the information and then I put enter and I really had
mhm,
great
mhm.
results. Maybe you can try that. I don't have the
Okay,
premium
okay,
version. I have the basic one, but the basic one, it's really good. It's really working
okay,
good. Maybe you can try
okay.
that, and I can also send you some because ChatGPT wasn't today in our session. But if you
Mhm.
want to know more about ChatGPT and research, please come to the second session, the module
Okay.
2 of our Recruit Academy. My colleague Daniel and my colleague Michaela will tell you more about that. So we will go more into depth with the tools. I think that would be good for you,
Yes.
Anna, if you
Okay,
join that.
okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Florentina. I was saying
Florentina,
Ayana.
sorry. Sorry,
Sorry.
Florentina.
Okay.
Okay. The
Okay.
wrong
Thank
name
you
was
so much.
appeared here. You're welcome. Elmar,
Okay.
you raised your hand. Elmar?
Yeah, I can speak to that maybe just a little bit because
Yeah,
I'm quite a
please.
fresh recruit. Yeah, I'm quite a
Mm-hmm.
fresh recruiter, so I'm basically
Mm-hmm.
working this like 3 months. I don't think, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we're mostly using, so for example, now it's Xing, it's LinkedIn.
Okay.
It was also Stepstone. I mean, we still use Stepstone, but Stepstone changed a little bit, but that's off topic, since it's also mostly for the German market. The thing is, it is always with the Boolean search, and since you've already mentioned it, so for example, it's a little bit tougher to find candidates. Of course, I'm not that much experienced, but I have colleagues who help me out quite a lot. And yesterday, I just heard from a colleague, for example, if I'm having problems with finding a position, certain people for this position, what he recommended me is to use ChatGPT, and in that case, for example, take a term which is relevant for your positions and write me like 10 synonyms which is relevant to the context. And then you just swap it up a little bit with the Boolean search, and
Yes.
most often it's like really, really good results with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's like a thing which I actually started practicing since yesterday, and it helped me out like a lot.
Okay, that's
Because
great.
yeah, because what I was also doing is like taking a lot of I don't know, like examples for in the Boolean search, and then I write like 5 to 6 brackets with a million descriptions to the position, and it's just way too much, and there's like a lot of it, and there's like 111 pages. I'm like, what is this? Like, this
Yeah,
doesn't make
yeah,
sense, you know? And then
yeah.
it's like, okay, let's do something very, very specific, and from that specific thing, just do like a little bit more if it is already all filled, and then like with the synonyms, and that helped me out quite a lot. So I just want to
Maybe
share that a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Maybe just a question from my side to you, Elmar, as you work on the German market, because Elmar is from Ithaca Solutions, and you mentioned Xing. For those of you who don't know that, Xing is like the smaller LinkedIn from the DACH region. I also worked with it, but how are you experiencing Xing, Elmar? Is it a good thing to search local candidates in the DACH region or in Germany?
Yeah, Xing is extremely helpful,
Okay,
honestly.
great.
I don't know if it has to do with our company as to how many messages we can write on Xing, but for example, my experience was at least that first off, we have a lot more messages on Xing, and it really also depends on the position. That's the thing, because you can find every position on LinkedIn, or basically, or what I want to say, not every position makes a lot of sense to search it on LinkedIn. For example, we have like a position where we're trying to find customer support for like pharmacies, and most oftenly, people who work in pharmacies, they don't have that big of a, let's call it like repertoire of skills. It's basically okay if you work in a pharmacy, you're mostly doing the same thing probably for like 15 years, and there's not a lot to mention, and most of those people aren't on LinkedIn. So those types of candidates, for example, really good to find on Xing. And I guess it really depends on the position, where I cannot speak to other positions, but this is like just one example. So Xing is very useful in that regard, and especially I don't know, for example, if it's a different position, let's call it like, you can find basically all of the positions on Xing, which you can find on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn cannot find all the positions that you got on Xing. So
Okay.
that's like the thing.
Okay.
At least from my experience, I just don't want to speak like I'm the all-knowing Elmar or something like that. So I'm just working 3 to 4 months. It's just my personal experience.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's always good to have fresh opinion. Thank you so much. Mira, you raised your hand. Mira, you're
Yeah, hi,
muted.
hi, yeah,
Hi.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about my experiences with Xing and LinkedIn,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and I can agree. The Xing talent pool is a bit more in general, a bit more blue collar, a bit more small, medium business. And in comparison to that, when I look for a white collar position, high ranking position, I would go straight to LinkedIn, because I would say the candidate quality is a bit better. So I would not go to Xing. When it comes to the Boolean search, I feel like they somehow changed their code in the background. So when I used a very long string with the Boolean search and the keywords for LinkedIn, and then the search engine completely ignored my prompts. So it was
Okay.
I was more successful with the short Boolean keyword prompt, like end on or not too long, too complicated. Then I get just like Emma said, completely strange results, ignoring my requests. So yeah, that's going on. But when I used the filters, the LinkedIn specific filters, it was quite good. And then in the end, I just use one keyword that really represents what I'm looking for, and then it works quite good.
Oh, good. Thank you so much for sharing, Mira. Thank you. Anyone else who wants to share anything about the channels and the sourcing challenges in your industry or in your market? So any questions in, yeah, Maris. Yeah, hi. Oh, you're frozen. I think your internet connection is not good, Maris. We don't hear you.
Okay, is now better?
It's a little bit better, yeah?
Okay, I'll just try maybe to speak
Yeah, now I can hear you.
a little bit louder.
Yeah.
So basically just a small tip also for the Boolean search. What helps?
Yes.
Just using ChatGPT also, like I may search results, I maybe pick the best pro
I think
where I
there's
can find similar
something with your
candidates, and then I
internet
get
connection. We don't hear you clearly.
I will stop here.
You can write it in the chat, Mary, if it's not too long. That
chat.
would be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, if you don't have any questions or anything, I'm happy to share the slides with you and all the information, also the studies that I shown you today, and something about Simon Sinek. And yeah, and I really recommend you to join the next session, the Recruiter Academy. I sent out yesterday the invites for it. It would be in mid-November. I hope you got all the invitation. If someone needs the invitation, please just write me a quick message, an email, whatever. I will forward it to you. But I told the partners also to forward the invites to the teams. And yeah, and thank you so much to all of you for your time today and for being in this first session. It was really nice to have you here. And I know it's been a lot of theory, but I'm happy to see such a nice number of people here. And thank you so much for taking the time. And I will provide you also the recording later on. And if you need anything, please also regarding the other modules, if you have any questions, come back to me. And yeah, I'm happy to support you. Thank you so much and have a great day and a good rest of the week.
Thank
Bye.
you, you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Hannah.
Bye.